The results of the OCAT provide insight as it compares your results and those of your peers on a number of key capacity dimensions. At the same time, the true power comes as you and your colleagues step back, reflect on those results, and make plans for action to make improvements going forward. As hundreds of organizations have taken the OCAT, we thought it would make sense to hear from some of those who have used it frequently and understand some of their best practices for the debrief.
Having done the OCAT a number of times, I can tell you that the most important thing that you need to do as an OCAT implementer is to be positive. This should be a very motivating, aligning kind of process that you're going to go through. You don't want to make anybody feel uncomfortable, and they're probably already slightly uncomfortable coming into this meeting to start with. So being as positive as you can will really pay off. The second thing is for the organizer to be really prepared. The first time I did an OCAT, I thought it would be useful for everybody to look at the raw data and find where there were consistencies and where there were inconsistencies, where there was agreement, disagreement, what patterns they saw, etc. This wound up taking a lot of time, and it wasn't very productive. So ever since then, I really take responsibility for owning the meeting process, not the outcome, but the process. And this means that I analyze the data ahead of time and present what I've learned visually. And these would be patterns, maybe something that shows the highest scored areas, what they're good at, areas of non-alignment. Maybe they need to discuss these areas to see where they disagree and why. Looking at board versus staff can also be useful. Sometimes the board, having almost nothing to do with implementation, is often really surprised to learn how bad things are for the staff. They might have very few systems that are working, etc. And then the third thing you can look at is what are the lowest scored areas. These might be areas where if they make a little investment, they might get a huge return. So looking at them in terms of possibility as opposed to in terms of are you good or are you bad. Lastly, asking critical questions is really important because you're looking for the most highly leveraged way to spend whatever resources your organization has on capacity building. Some questions you might ask are, what projects might ultimately free up resources? It might take an investment to start with, but over time you'll wind up having more time and energy rather than less. What will most impact our ability to achieve our mission? Looking at the strategic plan and asking yourself, what does it really take for us to achieve that mission? These are really good questions to be asking. Ultimately, during the meeting where you present the data, you should be driving towards an outcome that is identifying the top 1 to 3 capacity building priorities that this organization might be working on during the coming year.